That is sort of a teaching moment in your view, because you think that officers should have had a list of questions that should be standard to ask. Tell us what you're doing to get the laws changed.
So in Moab, they should have been conducting at that time what's called a lethality assessment. It is now mandated. It was promised at the time, and now it's mandated. It's a series of 11 questions. The Maryland Network Against Domestic Violence came up with this program 20 years ago. And since Gabby's story and other stories of domestic violence became prevalent in the media, the lieutenant governor of Utah lost her niece, Mandy Main, in a domestic violence incident. And she wanted to do something as well for her state and asked us if we would help advocate for the lethality assessment in Utah. And I said, send it to us and we'll take a look at it. And that's exactly what we did. And then I reached out to the people who created the program because I wanted to know more about it. I'm not just going to advocate on something that I read. I want to understand it. And Dr. Joe Messing and Dr. Campbell came, they got on the phone and literally started telling me how they broke down this program and how they created it. Gave me the study that they used to create it. It's called the Oklahoma study. It's a horrible read, by the way. It's a great read, but it's a horrible read, by the way, because you hear the statistics, you read the data and stuff that you hear. And Utah passed it, and that's fabulous. Now, we took that verbiage that they used in Utah, and we wanted to get that passed in the state where we live in now, which was Florida, and we got that passed as well. Florida and Utah did it differently. And here's the beauty of why this works out. The Maryland Network has a copyright on that program. And I would advocate for their program over any other. If a state said, which way do you want us to go? I would say take this program. Florida didn't like some of the reporting stuff, that's required with it. And I understand it from, listen, paint with a broad brush, I get it. So what we did in Florida was kind of reword a few things here and there and added a question, 12th question, which is there anything else you want to tell us? So you kind of circumvented that copyright. But again, the program's the same at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And it's not just the questions that's important. That's the key, though. So just asking the questions to check a box, that's not the program. Taking a lethality assessment and not partnering with a domestic violence shelter and organization isn't the right way to go. You need to have that partnership. Because if you do identify someone that's in a lethal situation and you have nowhere to bring them, what are you doing? You don't have advocates for them or resources for them. What are you doing? So having that partnership is first and foremost the main objective.
That is an important point because in the documentary it sort of highlights how after that encounter with police in Moab, it was Brian Laundrie who was taken to a hotel.
They paid for it using a domestic violence statute. Then why
they paid for his hotel?
Why didn't they classify it as such then? But that being said, the lethality assessment, the numbers there don't lie, right? Because there's 20 years it's been around. I mean, there were areas in Florida that were using it for years, and they saw a 70% drop in the domestic violence homicide rate, even if they overinflated that number. And let's just say they accidentally doubled it.